Welcome back, everyone, to part 2 of this Illumination English lesson called Digital Detox. In this lesson, we are going to be looking at the vocabulary from the article that we read together in part 1. So if you haven't done that, if you skipped into lesson 2, you need to go back and view lesson 1 first, where you'll be introduced to this vocabulary. Let's get into this now. On the screen, we have the vocabulary words, phrases here from the article in the same order as you saw them and read them out loud, so they should be familiar to you. And over on the right-hand side, we've got some space here for making sentences. We're going to start by going through the definitions of these one by one, starting with factor in. So to factor may sound familiar to you if you're a mathematician, but we're not talking about the mathematical operation here. We're looking at this word in a different context. Okay, so to factor in something means to consider maybe several things and their place, perhaps, or their meaning. So you're taking something into consideration. Downside, the next word on the list, is always a negative aspect of something. And another word that is a synonym for downside, it's also an idiom, is drawback. So if you ever see these two words, they both start with D, maybe it'll be easy to remember: downside, negative, or drawback. Our next word is hooked on. So to be hooked on something means to be addicted to it. Okay, it can be anything. It doesn't have to be something negative. You can be hooked on positive things, hooked on good habits. Okay, so let's go on to the next word here. Kick the habit. Now, if you have a habit, if you are hooked on something and you want to stop or give that up, that's what you do. You kick, meaning you get rid of it, kick that habit. And if you do that very quickly, suddenly, you stop it cold turkey. So if you ever hear that expression, I stopped smoking cold turkey. Yeah, that means you stopped smoking just one day. You just gave up cigarettes and never touched them again. And you can do that with any kind of substance or any activity. Now, the next word in our article, minimalist, in the article referred to people who gave up digital devices or using them. But a minimalist can refer to anybody who wants to have a more simple, bare bones, we call that bare, simple lifestyle without a lot of extra luxuries. Okay, that usually is what it refers to, somebody who wants a very simple, sparse lifestyle. Our next word on the list is tech-driven. Now, you can probably see here part of the word technology. Okay, so that's the first part of that word. And then driven. To be driven means that you are really passionate. You really strongly love something and are involved in that to a great extent. So if you are really passionate about technology, you can be called tech-driven. You can use this driven with any kind of topic too. So you could be fashion driven, right? If you are really into clothes in the fashion industry. Let's go to our next word, detox. And we talked about this a little bit in the reading. So to detox as a verb means to, remember, to get rid of some toxins from your body. Detox as an adjective too can be used to describe a kind of program or treatment for people who are addicted to some toxic substance. So it's often used as a verb to detox from something. We had it in the title of the article, Digital Detox. So there it was a noun just referring to the act of taking some kind of toxic substance from your body, and then digital referring to what type of toxin or negative thing that we were removing from the body. All right, last but not least, we had the noun phrase a face to face, used as a noun phrase to talk about what kind of meeting you want to have with someone. This is a in-person, real, not virtual meeting where you're physically present with one or more people. And this hyphenated adjective here, it's usually used as an adjective, but in common colloquial English, it's often, you'll hear this in movies and TV, hear it used as a noun phrase. And this one too, that I've included, a heart-to-heart. You want to have a heart-to-heart with someone. That means a really kind of a deep personal conversation, sharing, intimate thoughts and emotions. Now, over here, let's look at where we're going to be making sentences here. I've got one already pre-made for you, just as an example of how I would use this in a sentence. And of course, you also have it in the article. Let's read this aloud. Before starting the rehab program, the drug addicts had to detox completely. Okay, so we have it used, again, as a verb. Not the only way you can use it, but that's the standard way I think that probably most native speakers would use it. Now we've got a blank section here. I'm going to make a sentence off the top of my head. That means spontaneously, without any planning. I want you, when you are, now you're going to take these vocabulary words here and you're going to think about them and try to make sentences of your own. Keep it simple, okay, unless you're a real advanced speaker, but keep it simple. Think of what kind of context you want to use the word in. Think of how you're going to construct the sentence itself. So let's go through a process right now. I'll make my text box here. Okay, and let's just move it over here. There we go. Okay, let's choose a word from our list. I've got lots to choose from, but I think I'm going to concentrate on this one since it is a kind of an unusual one used as a noun phrase. I'm going to use it in the more conventional way as an adjective to describe a type of conversation or meeting. So let's see, how am I going to do that? Okay, let's give it a time frame. Okay, when do you usually have a face-to-face with someone? When do you have a kind of conversation where you meet in person? Probably on the weekend. So this weekend. Now I need a subject and verb. Okay, want. I want to have. Now as an adjective, face-to-face conversation. With who? With some old friends from high school. Okay, perfect. There we go. So when you're thinking of how to make your sentences with these vocabulary words here in the list, keep it simple. And I would strongly advise you, before you end this video, this part of the lesson, that you either take a screenshot of the vocabulary words and their definitions, or maybe you've already done that. Maybe you need to take some paper, pen, pencil, and you want to write them down, because of course writing helps you to retain and remember things longer. So if you want to write it down or take a screenshot, whatever you want to do, you want to have these vocabulary words, in your mind for part 3 of this lesson, which leads me over here to this box, which is for your sentence. Yes, you are going to write me a sentence or more using these vocabulary words, and that's going to become apparent in part 3 of this lesson, what we're going to do with those sentences. So let's end part 2 now and get ready, move on to part 3, where we're going to be having a little knowledge check, a little quiz time. Remember to take a screenshot of that vocabulary or have it written down somewhere. And I'll see you later in part 3. 3.